Bonjour and welcome to a little special video about what was going on inside this magazine this week. Now, before we start, I will get it out there and say I loved it. I love this book, but there's a problem with it, and I think I want to discuss with you lot what was going on and why I think it didn't quite work. I think it's a bold experiment, and there's issue 1. Now, from 50 years ago, there's another issue 1. We're going to take a deep dive. Well, not the deepest of dive, to be fair. We're going to do a little comparison. And to try and get you to understand why I had a bit of a problem with it. And like I say, I'm not hating on it. The story was magnificent. It was, even the artwork is decent. But the reproduction, I think I know what they was trying to get at. And there's another little comic here. And what I couldn't do was put my finger on where I had seen this kind of reproduction before, and in black and white, in old magazines, in old comics. And I thought at first it was going to be Marvel UK. So I did start looking around, and this was a weird and wonderful little title, and it was just at the top of one of the boxes. The pile of Titans. I don't know what box to put these in, so they kind of drift around my collection. This little pile of them, because they're in a, of all the formats, this is one of the weirdest. So, but this is what we was getting in the UK in 1976. So around the same era, around the same era, maybe a couple of years after Conan issue 1, The Savage Sword of. So, just using these 4 comics, join me after the scroll and let's see if I can show you why I was a little bit, just a little bit uncomfortable, and it just left a little bit of a sour taste, but only because I think it's a bold experiment gone wrong. Anyway, join me after the scroll. If none of that made sense, then again, I don't think I'm gonna. If you're not with me by now, then I don't think if you join me after the scroll, you're gonna be any more the wiser. To be fair, but anyway, please join me after the scroll. Okay, guys, let's take a look at this beauty, and it is a beauty. So you might think from my introduction, I've got a major issue with this, but I don't know why I'm finding it so. I don't know. Is it? And anyway, beautiful Just Go cover, in keeping with the old school. I mean, that's good old Boris Vallejo. It's just. It's there. I know this is the modern Conan logo and all that, but still that's just a wonderful. That's Conan all day long. There we are with 50 years ago issue 1, and obviously it was a black and white magazine, and everything's in multi-technicolor these days, and I get why they want to do old school. So I do understand what they're trying to do with this magazine, and it does start off very, very well. With little introductions, the Medium Chronicles, and nice artwork, nice little. See, even there, that piece of artwork looks quite good. It looks great, the reproduction of it. But anyway, we will get into it. Nice pin up there by. I'm assuming is that De La Torre? I don't know, because some of these aren't credited. Now it kind of begins here. Now, if they're going for an old. If the designers were going for an old map that you can just about make out in black and white, I don't know why you would make it such a murky grey. You could just about read, and I know I'm old, and need glasses, but you know what I'm getting at, guys. So it kind of starts there, and then carries on. Now that looks to me that is a beautifully haunting, evocative image, but I don't know. I just don't know it's not really that, because that's just one image, and that looks, like I say, looks haunting. That's a really powerful image. It's when we get here, and all right, they're elephants, but my God, this is all going. For me, this was really jarring. To make this whole, I mean, all right, if you're in the shadows, that's fine. That's fine. If you want to do a silhouette, that's fine. I mean, and like I say, this is not going to be slating this comic, because this was a cracking story. This really was a cracking story, and this artwork's great. But what I think they're trying to do is go for that pulpy. They're trying to go for a pulp feel to the artwork, so that although this is a modern comic, it looks old. 100% that's what they're going for. But I think in doing so, I just think this comes across as, it's not, these 2 pages are all, but it gets messy. This is hiding the artwork. And I know they've done it on this kind of old newsprinty type paper. So I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what, but whereas compared to, so if you look at just normal black and white line work, good old Buscema. Is it Buscema and Chan? Buscema and Pablo Marcos. There is enough darkness here, but it's line work, and they've put some grey tone on it, but that is not that. These are 50 years apart, but I do understand that they are trying to go for it here. What I'm just trying to get at is, well, why did they do it? Look at this, the Red Sonja strip, just black and white line work. I've got a feeling that this artwork was done in full colour, and I can't understand why. Maybe they was toying with the idea of doing the magazine in colour. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's a great image. It's a bit too computery generated-y for me, but nevertheless, it was an impactful scene. The story was great. I did thoroughly enjoy this magazine, by the way, but I just can't get over the murkiness of all this. And the artwork's lost in it. I think, anyway. Just my pure personal opinion, and this isn't bad art, but why make that so murky and grey? And I just do think, and this is what it reminded me of, guys. So this is the old Warrior, Des Skin's first kind of, and all it was reprints. So this is back in Britain in, what year have we got here? We've got 1974, so 2 years before this bad boy come along. But what they were doing was reprinting stuff from, I think it was all from Eagle. Anyway, but it was from old 60s comics. And look how murky. And that's why I think that's what they were going for. But what this was full colour art. This would have been full colour in Eagle. I'm sure it was from Eagle, these stories. Fully painted artwork by these artists, and some of it was glorious. But look how, I mean, that's not so bad. That's not so bad, but it's when you get to stuff like this. Look, Heroes of Spartan, I definitely know that was Eagle. And look how murky it is. But, so that's a British comic from the 70s. This one is a British comic from the 70s, reprinting colour artwork from the 60s. But was that the feel that they wanted to go for with the Savage Sword of Conan? Because the magazine was American. So I don't know why they wanted to go for, if that was what they were trying to achieve. But just look at how that, from a full colour, and it was produced on really nice paper as well in Eagle, compared to this modern, up to date this week. And this is what I couldn't, as I was flicking through this story, there was something, I have found it annoying. Oh, obviously, because I'm doing this video of it, I have found it annoying, because I think they could have done better than this. I think they could have just given us, like Hellboy gives us, Mignola's artwork, or did do, or whoever's doing Hellboy, when they do black and white, they do it gloriously. Black and white can be a beautiful thing. Just black and white. The greys, reproducing the greys, I've just buries the art. And this beautiful art, I forget the artist on this now, but anyway, you're not here to look at Heros of Spartan. Heros the Spartan, rather. But look how his artwork is buried. And it was really nice artwork. Look how it's buried when they reproduce it in black and white. And I think that was the shame of this. But if that was the effect they was trying to go for, and that was, like I say, and this was just a reprint. This was just a cheap reprinty, 15p for this. It was all reprint from the early 60s, just a cash grab really. And then we go on to, when's this? 1979. So this is the other side of the first issue. And look how, again, but I think this is just overusing zipper tone. And again, look how murky they've made Kirby's. They just haven't taken. But there's no need. Look at that's almost in silhouette. If it was at night, yeah, give us a silhouette. Don't give us this grey, murky zipper tone. And I think it was the Marvel UK stuff that I thought of because I would have grown up with this stuff. Look how nice the black and white lines are when it's just black and white line artwork, or just line artwork reproduced. End of. That's how nice it can be. And there was a lot of bang for your buck actually in this comic. I don't know how many of you might be watching this video, in the UK. This was a weird and wonderful little anomaly. They only done it this one time with this comic. And this Captain America image there. Come on, what a horrible way of reproducing. I think these stories were from Strange Tales, maybe. No, not Strange Tales. It was Tales of Suspense, wasn't it? But look, compare that to that image, which someone has actually just penned, has just inked in black. Fine. That's what you do. You don't do that, because that just ends up it ends up like this. Maybe it's just a personal preference of mine that I just didn't. Well, I don't know whether I wasn't ready for it, but anyway, it did jar me. But this is still head and shoulders above a lot of stuff out there, story wise and art content wise. And then you compare it to the Solomon Kane at the back. Now look again. Look how crisp that is. Just gloriously black and white. All right, it's got the grey because we're in a modern comic. We're in the modern world now. That image, that's not murky. That's not hidden under blurry, because it's black and white art. That was a great story as well. Typical Solomon Kane. And I really did enjoy this magazine. I love the format. They've given us a short story by Jim Zub, who's doing either that. Kind of shows you what happens when you reproduce a colour image in black and white. So perhaps they were toying with doing this. That was a good page to flick over on, wasn't it? Oh my God, YouTube are going to be after me now. I think maybe this was done in colour when they was maybe debating whether or not, or we might see this in full colour, maybe another day. Anyway, guys, I will leave it there because that was a glorious first issue, apart from those issues, shall we say. And 50 years on, I just thought it was nice to have a quick flick through Buscema's and who else was it? Oh, Murato, Neil Adams on that as well. And you can see some Neil Adams, just quickly, as I was leafing through this earlier, you could see some Neil Adams flourishes here in the inking. So, yeah, just, but this did, I know what they was trying to do. They was trying to take us back. But these days weren't half as murky as those. So anyway, guys, I will leave it there. As always, thank you to my sexy subscribers. If you're still subscribing, and if you're giving me a little like, thank you, and comment, and let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of this bad boy. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. And well, and I would love to know what you thought of it. I'd love to, because I've seen some people on threads saying, "Oh, my copy isn't so bad," but I can't quite believe that. I think there's going to be worse than this. This isn't bad reproduction at all. Well, it is. But you know what I mean. Nothing's gone wrong at the printers. It's just that it was a bold experiment. Just yeah, the idea was there, I suppose. And I will leave it there, guys. And until next time, I will bid you all adios.